Hi, I'm Tony Constantine, an investment advisor representative with LifeMark Securities Corp. The views that I share with you today are mine and do not necessarily reflect the views of LifeMark Securities Corp. I subscribe to a number of newsletters from economists, and the economists that I've been hearing from lately have two major concerns. Number one, inflation is still too high, and number two, the national debt, according to the Peter G. Peterson Foundation, which runs the national debt clock, is at $34 trillion, with a T, trillion dollars. $34 trillion is a lot of money. And at 5%, the interest on that $34 trillion is $1,700 billion a day. I mean, not a day. $1,700 billion a year. That's a lot of money. It's so much money, in fact, that we can't afford to pay the bill. We have to borrow money to pay just the interest on the national debt. Doesn't sound like good fiscal policy to me. Does it sound like good fiscal policy to you? I think not. After a series of administrations that have failed to balance their budgets in order to keep the country afloat, is it any wonder that the Federal Reserve is not looking at really reducing the interest rates anytime soon? So if you're waiting around for lower interest rates, I suggest you don't hold your breath, because it's not likely to happen soon. I could be wrong, but probably not. So far, all I can say is that we've got politicians who insist on kicking the can down the road rather than solving the problems. If the government were to just print more money, that'd be wonderful, right? Not really, because it's actually inflationary. We found that out after the stimulus checks started being spent after COVID. First we had the lockdowns, then we had supply chain issues, then we had the stimulus checks, and the prices just kept going up and up and up to the highest in, 30 or 40 years? We can't afford that either. So we have to get some sane people in Washington that are committed to solving the problem rather than continuing to kick the can down the road for somebody else to solve later on, because that will not have a good outcome, I don't believe. So when we go to the polls, let's remember that we elect our representatives. It's a democratic republic. We do not vote directly on the policies of the federal government. We vote for the people who set the agenda for the federal government and the policies for the federal government. Just one other thing. Some politicians have suggested that with the number of illegals invading our southern border, we might consider giving them Social Security. Well, I remember these same politicians complaining about the greed of the baby boomers who have their hands out now because they want to collect their Social Security that they paid into and earned. And now politicians want to take that money, which is supposed to run out about 2033. They want to take that money and just give it to illegals flooding through our southern border. I'm not sure that that's a fair thing to do either. So we do have a lot of fiscal problems at the federal level, and we need to get those straightened out as quickly as we can. And again, remember that when you go to the polls, because you're going to vote for the people who are setting that policy. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, my contact information will be on screen in a moment. feel free to contact me at your will. Be sure to come back next week for our next exciting adventure in investing. Until then, make every day a great day.